Alexander Graham Bell is best known as the inventor of the telephone, a device that revolutionized communication across the world. His life was filled with curiosity, innovation, and a deep commitment to helping others, particularly those with hearing impairments. This biography will take you through his early life, his major accomplishments, and the impact he left on the world. Alexander Graham Bell was born on March 3, 1847, in Edinburgh, Scotland. His parents, Alexander Melville Bell and Eliza Grace Simons Bell, played a significant role in shaping his future. His father was a well-known elocutionist, someone who taught people how to speak clearly and effectively. He created a system called visible speech to help teach deaf people how to speak by showing them how to position their mouth and tongue. Bell's mother, Eliza, was a talented pianist despite being almost completely deaf. She communicated with her son using a special language they developed together. From a young age, Bell was fascinated by sound and speech. His home was filled with discussions about these topics, and he quickly became interested in how sound worked and how it could be used to communicate. Bell's education was a mix of formal schooling and personal exploration. He attended several schools in Edinburgh, including the Royal High School, but he wasn't particularly fond of the traditional education system. He preferred learning through experimentation and hands-on activities. This curiosity led him to conduct various experiments at home, often with his brothers, Melville and Edward. One of Bell's early experiments involved a simple device that could transmit sound. He created a speaking automaton by attaching a mouth-shaped piece to a bellows, a device that pushes air, which could mimic the human voice. This experiment was an early indication of his interest in creating devices that could replicate and transmit sound. In 1863, when Bell was 16, he attended the University of Edinburgh for a short time before moving to London to study at the University College London. It was during this period that he became deeply involved in his father's work on visible speech, furthering his understanding of sound and communication. Tragedy struck the Bell family in 1870 when both of Bell's brothers died of tuberculosis. The loss deeply affected Bell and his parents, leading them to seek a fresh start. The family decided to move to Canada, settling in Brantford, Ontario. The move to Canada marked a turning point in Bell's life. He continued his work on sound and communication, but now he had a broader focus. He began to think about how to use his knowledge to help those with hearing impairments, just as his father had done. In 1871, Bell moved to Boston, Massachusetts, where he took a position as a teacher at the Boston School for the Deaf. His teaching methods were innovative and compassionate, focusing on helping his students learn to speak and communicate effectively. He used his father's visible speech system but also developed his own techniques, tailoring them to the needs of each student. Bell's work with the deaf community was deeply personal. His mother was deaf, and he had a strong desire to help others who faced similar challenges. His dedication earned him a reputation as a skilled teacher and advocate for the deaf. During this time, Bell also became interested in the idea of transmitting speech electronically. He began experimenting with ways to convert sound into electrical signals and then back into sound. This idea would eventually lead to one of the most significant inventions in history. Bell's work on the telephone began in earnest in 1874. He collaborated with Thomas Watson, a skilled electrician, to develop a device that could transmit speech over long distances. Their experiments were conducted in a small laboratory in Boston, where they faced numerous challenges and setbacks. The breakthrough came on March 10, 1876, when Bell spoke the famous words, "Mr. Watson, come here, I want to see you," into a device they had created. To their amazement, Watson heard Bell's voice clearly on the other end of the line. This moment marked the birth of the telephone, a device that would change the world. Bell filed for a patent on the telephone on February 14, 1876, and it was granted on March 7, 1876. The patent, U.S. Patent Number 174465, was one of the most valuable patents ever issued. It gave Bell the exclusive rights to the invention and paved the way for the widespread adoption of the telephone. After the invention of the telephone, Bell faced the challenge of convincing people of its value. Many were skeptical of the new technology, and it took time to gain acceptance. However, Bell was determined, and he began demonstrating the telephone at public events and exhibitions. One of the most significant demonstrations took place at the Centennial Exposition in Philadelphia in 1876. The telephone was displayed as a curiosity, but it quickly captured the attention of visitors, including Emperor Dom Pedro II of Brazil and renowned scientist Sir William Thomson, later Lord Kelvin. Their endorsements helped build credibility for the invention. The first commercial telephone exchange was established in New Haven, Connecticut, in 1878, and soon after, the Bell Telephone Company was founded. The company rapidly expanded, and telephone lines began connecting cities and towns across the United States and beyond. Despite the success of the telephone, Bell faced numerous challenges and legal battles. Many inventors and companies claimed that they had developed similar devices, leading to a series of lawsuits. The most famous of these was the dispute with Elisha Gray, who had filed a patent for a similar invention on the same day as Bell. After years of litigation, Bell's patents were upheld, and he was recognized as the true inventor of the telephone. These legal victories secured his place in history and ensured that his invention would continue to grow and develop. While the telephone was Bell's most famous invention, it was far from his only contribution to science and technology. Throughout his life, Bell continued to invent and explore new ideas. One of his significant interests was in aviation. He was fascinated by the idea of human flight and conducted experiments with kites, gliders, and airplanes. In 1907, he founded the Aerial Experiment Association, AEA, with a group of young engineers, including Glenn Curtiss, who would later become a pioneer in aviation. The AEA made significant advancements in aircraft design, including the development of the Silver Dart, one of the first powered airplanes in Canada. Bell was also interested in improving communication for the deaf. He invented the photophone, a device that transmitted sound using light waves, and he continued to work on various methods of teaching speech to the deaf. In addition to his scientific work, Bell was deeply involved in education and philanthropy. He helped establish the American Association to promote the teaching of speech to the deaf, now known as the Alexander Graham Bell Association for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, and supported various educational institutions and scientific organizations. In 1877, Bell married Mabel Gardner Hubbard, one of his former students who was also deaf. Mabel was a significant influence in Bell's life, providing him with support and encouragement throughout his career. They had 4 children, Elsie, Marion, Edward, and Robert, though only Elsie and Marion survived to adulthood. The Bell family spent much of their time at their estate in Baddeck, Nova Scotia, where Bell continued his experiments and enjoyed a quiet life away from the public eye. He was a devoted husband and father, and his family life brought him great happiness. Alexander Graham Bell passed away on August 2, 1922, at the age of 75. His death was mourned around the world, and his legacy continues to live on through the countless lives he touched and the innovations he brought to the world. Bell's invention of the telephone was a monumental achievement that changed the way people communicated. It paved the way for the modern telecommunications industry, connecting people across the globe and making it possible for voices to be heard over vast distances. Beyond the telephone, Bell's work with the deaf community left a lasting impact. His dedication to helping those with hearing impairments inspired generations of educators and advocates, and his contributions to the field of communication remain invaluable. Bell was also a visionary who saw the potential of new technologies. His work in aviation, sound transmission, and education demonstrated his boundless curiosity and desire to improve the world. He believed in the power of knowledge and innovation to bring about positive change, a belief that continues to inspire inventors and scientists today. Alexander Graham Bell's life was one of discovery, compassion, and relentless pursuit of knowledge. He was a man who saw possibilities where others saw obstacles, and his inventions and ideas have left an indelible mark on the world. His story is a testament to the power of curiosity, perseverance, and the desire to make a difference. Thank you for watching our documentary on Alexander Graham Bell. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about the lives of other remarkable individuals, please give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, History Book.